I'm the all in all, from the dust in the universe to the waters in the womb I surf. I'm the all in all, from the atoms that exist in the sun to the atom that's in Genesis 1. I'm the all in all, from the first king that walked this globe to the last black slave they stole. I'm the all in all, every living thing you see, all of those things exist in me. I'm the all in all, from the depths of the sea to Mount Everest. Allah in the flesh, most benevolent. This physical form born from melanin. When electrical thoughts spark intelligence, ain't nothing existing I don't exist in. From the clouds in the heavens down to this skin. If you're doing the knowledge, you can follow Jews. In both cases, the basis, water molecules. Rain, sleet, snow, hailstorms come together the same way that my cells form. You don't see it yet, hard to fathom still. It's A-like to the pyramids, how my atoms feel. I existed as DNA when I earth formed, and my maternal lineage is from the firstborns. Holy Quran, Bible, I'm holding there. In a blind mist, you'll miss if you don't know the square. Yeah, on all four corners they seek the G. While trying to speak on me in secrecy, I created the earth, its mother and the skin is the crust, the heart is the gold. Yeah, I planted the seeds and watered the soil. Yeah, emitted my light, she saw the corona. Original man, maker, I know all in all. From the dust in the universe to the waters in the womb I surf. I'm the all in all, from the atoms that exist in the sun to the atom that's in Genesis 1. I'm the all in all, from the first king that walked this globe to the last black slave they stole. I'm the all in all, every living thing you see, all of those things exist in me. I'm the all in all. Supreme team, dominant gene, God in the physical. Rose from the bowels of hell, pardon my visual. Cremators doing their job when they get rid of you. Crabs in a bucket, mind state and kill a nigga too. Civil wars in the hood, letting hammers dance, playing with the pieces of steel, attract the ambulance or a prison bid. Now your daughter's sick, ain't nothing gangster about leaving your seeds fatherless. So I study self and subtracted crime. It takes supreme mathematics to heal a grafted mind. For the 2 and the 3, you need the 1. The only way to get to the Father is through the Son. I met a lot of dudes when they used to shit. They come and go every day. I'm getting used to it. Far as self go, I'm planted on the square. They on the light to a law. They planted over there. They don't respect the history. They don't recite degrees. When we be using them both to reunite the seed, yellow to the brown, brown to the black. Accepted or rejected, you repel or attract. It's been over 50 years, he been gone so far. Now that's a powerful cipher. Peace to Allah.
Peace, y'all. This is God in them streets. Make sure y'all hit the subscribe, the like, and also the share button. Okay, as you can see, I played the intro once again because, you know, on the physical all due appearance, y'all see the God is beat up. But it's not physically beat up, it's mentally beat up. Because I've been placed under what you call a street politic gag order. You know, when you can no longer speak freely because individuals may be, you know, a little leery that things in the past can come back to haunt them. Because we all know what they call the statute of limitation. And we definitely know that that doesn't apply to, as they would say, 187s, you know, homicides or whatever. So those things could never come into existence because, like I said, I have no personal knowledge of any of those things that took place in the past, present, nor the future. But dealing with politics, you know, street politics, as we say, we keep everything right and exact. And the difference between the errors, because I was looking at, some of my other YouTube individuals, I'm not going to say comrades, because a lot of times dig people's content and then they get in the beef with somebody else you may know or said something, honorable about, and then next thing you know, because you still dealing with them, it's like crazy. But anyway, I was looking at Zip's content the other night, and he was talking about the music and the comparison between what we would call nowadays the drill music and, the ops and the gang activities and everything that take place in the music, causing individuals to go out and do the things that they do. But he stated the year of 1972, which was 1 year before 73, which is the 50 years that we have now in hip hop, you know what I'm saying? Which that was the year I was introduced to the knowledge. I didn't accept it then. I was 11 years old, but I was introduced to it. That you had music that was made by individuals like Al Green. Let's get together, no matter what we ever. That's all I can see. All that baby making music. But between January of 72 and June of 72, there was over 800 homicides in New York City. And he made the statement that individuals was listening to that type of music, but yet they was still getting in the car and riding with the 38s or whatever they was doing and putting in work. And yeah, a lot of that was going on. And I was 10 years old at that time. And once again, like I said, that was the height of my era in the gang culture. But when it comes to the knowledge, and who our father went and originally taught, especially in Medina, a great number of our firstborns were a part of gangs at that time. Universal, Shamgardner, Cross Park, Chaplains, Shasha and Riley and those other individuals, they was other forms of Fort Greene chaplains. When I listened to the brother Wise's history about gangs in Brooklyn from the 60s, you had the Imperial Buccaneer Lords, which eventually out our way just became the Buccaneer Lords. But those were the gang elements that was there then. And like I said, the father went to what we classify as the wretched of the earth, and taught them brothers. But during those times, we was taught those things, but it still had a sense of certain, things you don't do. As far as when it came to the women and the children. And even though it was a time where there was no such thing as domestic violence, because, if the police rolled up on you and your woman was going through it and she said, oh, he smacked me, and he said, yo, that's my wife, the police basically jumped back in the car, and you got to handle that. But due to the fact of men taking extreme advantages of their women, and beating them, to death and all these different things, the domestic violence thing had to come into, activation, to the point that, even if you communicate a threat, and it's recorded, she could take you to court and, you got a problem. So with that being said, a lot of things change. And during the times of things changing, you understand what I'm saying? People tend to forget a lot of things. And people tend to not place things that was placed in order. That's called respect. Because respect carries you a whole lot further than fear. Because my thing is, the more that I fear you and the more dangerous that you are, the quicker that I know I got to do something to eliminate you before you can eliminate me. And that's how things started to change within the community and within the things that we did, as far as saying, yo, you know, this is my turf, my set, you know, our hood, whatever terminology that you choose to use, that all those bases of respect is no longer existing. So when I, you know, receive certain messages, you know, I understand the nature of those messages and I respect that. So that's to say that I won't use, you know, individuals or people, places, and times that may be real in events, because you have to respect how individuals are living today. You know what I'm saying? So you take that into court. So even though, you know, I gotta be beat up because everybody talk about, you know, the reality of the things that they grew up with. But some people remember things more than others. You know, like I remember when it was time for me to go to jail, you know, for the first time to go up north, which was in 89. The Quayside Court was in 88 out in Queens when they first formed TNT, you know, and I was ready to go, because sometimes you could be arrested and sometimes you could be rescued. And I was ready to be rescued because I was tired of living the life that I was living at that moment. You know, carrying guns, staying constantly paranoid, you know, making moves, this, that, and the third. And, you know, I was just tired of the whole reality. So, yeah, it was time for me to go. When it was time for me to go, my people, I'm going to make sure they right. So all the heavy artillery that the Guard still got, the vessels that the Guard got, like, you know, that real shit. Like my sister back there, she blew, you know, going through it, so she can't, you know, talk about when she came to visit me, you know, and I had full body armor, you know, vessels that went down to here with the double plates, you know, like you got to damn near shoot a bazooka to go through my shit, that I gave that to my people to make sure that they is secure. And even after we go through little situations that was big situations, and I come up out of that, and individuals say, yo, man, we being outgunned by the other side of the projects now. The little cats is going through it, you know, whoop, whoop, whoop. And the other young cats that's coming up now, they like not respecting that shit. Like, yo, fuck all that. You know what I'm saying? It's our time to shine. And they coming on our side now with that big shit going through doors and all that. You know, Project Steel doors. It's different from the South. South, y'all could do that home invasion bullshit. We come from, you know, you gonna get a nigga going in or coming out his crib. You know. But the powers of be show up with divine intervention, you know, and the word get back to Big Unc Shy. You know what I'm saying? I say, oh, man, you know what I'm saying? My man got a little something over here that can help them. Now, you know, we talking about back in, you know, the 90s, you know, when this type of weaponry wasn't popular, you know, that AR-15. You know? And I'm like, okay, man, I got to make sure, you know, my little homies is good. So I come over there and I make sure they get that. But nobody remembers things like that. You know, people get amnesia, you know, as to when they in situations, and they present those situations, the Shah, knowing Shah is the righteous God that's always going to do the same righteous things that they taught me to do. Like in the Shaolin Temple. You got to go through them 36 chambers. And by them teaching me certain rules and regulations, I'm going to respectively be in accordance with that. So when, a signal come out for me to help the peoples, I'm going to make sure my peoples is helped. Financially, militarily, you know what I'm saying? Mindset, whatever it may be. And I've done those things all the time within the parameters of the respect. Not the fear, but the respect. And this is where, the confusion comes in with the hood politics, with the fear and with the respect. And I find, and have always lived by the code of respect, is far greater than fear. Because see, when you got respect in the community and certain things go down, shootouts, whoop, 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 when the C ciphers show up or whatever, the people, they gonna always go with the individual that protect the community. And I know that for a fact because I've been protected plenty of times by the community, because they know that as long as I'm there, I'm gonna make sure that the youngins grow up with the same respect and the same amount of intelligence that's necessary in the field, as well as, within your community. And these are the things that was taught to me. And these are the things that I respect, as the family and the brotherhood, or like we say, you know what I'm saying? It takes, a village to raise an individual. It takes a community to raise an individual. And within inside of that community, I got OGs that's, on all different type of levels. The flyers dresser, the cat that pulls all the chicks, the cat that's so nice with his hands and everything else. Just all these different, as you would say, flavors of individuals that, you putting into that melting pot of character, the makeup, and I'm inhaling and exhaling all of this growing up as a young black man, with inside the ghettos of hell. And then at the tender age of 14, knowledge, culture, of freedom, and like I said, I ran into it at the age of knowledge, 1973 in Albany Projects, which was called the Laws Projects in Brooklyn, through my cousins and them. But I did not accept it because they wanted me to go on a 7-day fast and drink nothing but water and eat ice cream. And I couldn't do that. So I didn't accept it. But at the age of knowledge, culture, of freedom, 14, in Alpha School on Linden Boulevard, that's still there, alternative school, I learned who is the 5%. They are the poor righteous teachers who do not believe in the teachers of the 10%, who know the true and living God is, and who teach that the true and living God is the Son of Man, supreme being, black man from Asia, otherwise known as civilized people. No, supreme being, black man from Asia, who teaches freedom, justice, and equality to all the human families of the planet Earth, otherwise known as civilized people, Muslim, and also Muslim sons. So when I learned who the 5% was, and I learned what my duty was as a civilized person, then that's how I began to live and activate my life as far as my character being that of the supreme being. So I'm held to a higher standard. You understand? And when I realized that, then even though within inside of the community, you know what I'm saying, you got the 85% and you got the 10%, you know, which now as, you know, a mature adult going through all the different facets of life, I understand, you know, that 85% of the people that you're going to deal with in life, they full of shit and they don't mean nothing to you because they don't mean nothing to themselves because they don't even know they self. Because they lack what? Knowledge of self. 10% of the people that you're going to run into during your lifetime, all they going to do is look to use and abuse you. And the only reason they going to be with you, or the only reason they going to deal with you, is for what they can use you for. And you know, sometimes ain't nothing wrong with that. As long as it, you know, one hand washes the other, both hands washes the face. If you use me, I use you, and we accomplish something, that's cool. But if you use me and 90% of the profit went to you and you only, you know, I only got 10% of it, then that ain't right. And it's only going to be 5% of the individuals that you're going to run into in your lifetime, including your blood family, you know what I'm saying, that's really, you know, going to want the signs of everything in life for you, which is love, peace, and happiness. But most of the time, we know that that ain't, you know, going to be the reality, because we know that we got to go through that 12th letter in the supreme alphabet, which is L, which stands with us for love, hell, and then it got to come out right and exact. So, me being the right and exact individual that I am, you know, I will cut, you know, the story that everybody want and was waiting on, you know, to an end. But that does not kill my movements because, you know, I'm G.O.D. of the universe, you know? So I know every square inch, 12,478,118,400,000 square inches of the planet Earth. 196,940,000 square miles. 139,685,000 square miles of water. 57,255,000 square miles of land. You know? So we was the real ones. We was taught that. And until this day, with 47 years of learning 120 at the age of 14, you understand what I'm saying? I can still sit here, you know, and kick them right and exact, because for the simple fact, it's called living mathematics. You got to live this. Understanding to me only means to undergo and be left standing, perpendicular on your square. So let me get back to the topic at hand. You understand? I was placed under the gag order. Y'all see I'm in the chair. I've been beat up, you know, all upside the mental head, you know, because, you know, like I said, there's certain degrees of fear that always exist in the atmosphere that can be good just as well as bad, you know? So you respect those realities, but then in the same token, people got to respect your living reality. And as long as you talking about yourself and your life realities pertaining to what's taking place right now here in the present, then you can do that. You have an obligation to do that. It's just whether you want to deliver it positively or you want to deliver it negatively. And if you at these ages and these degrees in your life, and y'all been through, the P-Now institution, the college institution, the project institution, because that's an institution within itself. That's why, it ain't hard for us, the pipeline from the project to the penitentiary is not hard. At least, I know definitely the ones in New York, Jersey, you know what I'm saying, Chicago, wherever, few in DC and places that I've seen before, which got those same structures, 7 to 10 to 12 stories in the air, made out of that concrete, brick and everything, the floors, the amount of space, and then the most critical thing, the mentality. So when we was given knowledge for us not to be what? Savages in the pursuit of happiness. So a lot of individuals got a path because when I was rah-rah and going crazy, the battery that minister put in my pack, and then came along another older brother, Sabu Mathematics Dominican, and he was like, God, you live by the gun, you die by the gun. That's not the law's teachings. We got to be out here and protecting ourselves, but then it gets out of control. Just like, how this blood thing and Crip thing and everything, the foundation of it, was positive. Community Revolutionary Improvement Program. As a matter of fact, really they wasn't even called Crips. That was something that came from the newspaper. They was called Cribs. It was a B. But the newspaper made a typographical error and they put a P, and Crips sound better than Cribs, so boom. Because all they movements and everything from the foundation of it is jitterbugging, and that was with the wall, the cane, the hat, all that. That's what the gang banging. That's what our, what I'm saying, elderly brothers that got the knowledge, in the 60s, that first generation that were gang bangers, all over New York, not just in Brooklyn, Medina, but Mecca, all them brothers, P-Law, the Bronx, all them brothers. And brothers forget how many of 5%ers, what I'm saying, was of Latin descent. A lot of y'all just think of the individuals that you see, because New York, we mostly identify with Puerto Ricans. But they are not the biggest group, within the American society. Mexicans and all them, outweigh them. But because of New York, and that's where a lot of Puerto Ricans landed there, and in Chicago and everything, we tend to think of them. And most of the time back in the 70s, same thing with prison. You know what I'm saying? There was beef, between the Puerto Ricans and the blacks. And especially when it got, to go to Rikers Island, to the point that brothers started calling them Germans. And that's where beefs, began, and, other forms, like King Tone said, the Latin Kings was developed because of what the 5%ers was doing to them in jail. And you had a lot of renegade guards. You know what I'm saying? Like individuals like the Law of Justice and them, those was that's my man. And I'm quite sure that K-Son and a lot of them individuals coming from the cloth of being taught like how we was taught, they knew their degrees. Because a lot of times with the renegade guards and everything else, the justification that they use for robbing you is, yo, he ain't know his lessons, God. You know? Or he was at 85%. And it wasn't right and exact. But like I said, when domination, comes into, the picture or the environment, it's whoever is the strongest in numbers. So during those eras of time, before the C rule, the crack came about, from the mid-70s to the mid-80s, 80s, we were the strongest. So yeah, you got a lot of individuals that, say that we was a gang. Because just like everything else, you got individuals that come for the principles of what it's all about. And then you got individuals that come because it's popular, it's the fad, it's the style, protection, and everything else. And they not really in it, like we say, internalized it mentally and physically. Because when you internalize it mentally and physically, then that means wherever you go with it, that's who you are. Whether you say you God, body, blood, crip, or whatever, if that's what you internalize, then that's what you're going to live, regardless of the circumstances. You're not going to go nowhere and hide just because you outnumbered. You're not going to get to a facility or whatever where they mistreating individuals or, mistreating the guards, talking about, the establishment, the correction officer, the administration, and we're not going to go at it. Mentally first, and then if there's no resort, that no compromising or nothing that can be done, and you keep us under oppression, then we're going to burst out and go physically. And that's always been the way and the mentality and the mindset that I've had by receiving the knowledge of so. So during that time, you know what I'm saying, you had plenty of individuals who went to jail, this, that, and the third, and they got knowledge because they was in places where brothers was real strong and stood for something against the establishment. So they took on names, they studied lessons, but then when they came back out into the free world, they went back to what was, they thing, a habit, creatures, a habit. You know what I'm saying? And if they didn't allow themselves to be internalized with living mathematics, then it was going to be a justification, or just was going to be, they got the name and everything else is not, in accordance. And all those type of individuals I always got beef with. Because if you lead the youth in the wrong direction, you know what I'm saying, then we got a problem. Or I got to remove myself from that cipher because it's either going to be, positive over negative or negative over positive. And these are just, the rules of engagement. So I don't want to be in no positions at any given time where, I got to feel that if I come within certain atmospheres, that, I got to be ready for whatever is going to pop off. Yeah. In those times and everything else, there's nothing more to be said other than, you violated. Boom. You know what that means. So from that point on, you either come prepared or you accept the consequences. Because if you get caught slipping, then it's ABG. Anybody could get it. So once again, going back to these chambers of life, and you studying under all these different grandmasters of the hood, you know what I'm saying? And you hear fables and this, that, and the third, And then later on, you realize, oh man, it really wasn't like that. Holmes ran. What? I thought Bobo, nah, nigga, I was dead. You know what I'm saying? You crushed. Or you in a situation, you know what I'm saying, and something pop off, and you know, ones you looked up to, Grandmaster, didn't perform. He ended up running. So now, you as the student, you know, and you done internalized this, and you love this, and you willing to die for this, you know what I'm saying? You go into your script. You know, you be like my man that came out the 36 Chambers, Master Killer, that no joke. You know? So under these conditions, a lot of times you become greater than the masters that taught you. And especially if you get blessed with being able to go through all the chambers of, you know, learning these laws, rules, and regulations that govern the politics of the streets. So, homie that I'm always saying, you know, they got all the bad chicks and this, that, and the third. You know, I'm just going to drop a few jewels on y'all from what they call the Macadocious book, you know. And I roll on my man Obafemi or my man Puerto Rican Raymond, and I be like, yo, man, how y'all cats pulling all these chicks? And they told me, they said, look, man, this the key to the game. If you go somewhere and you know it's always that one or two broads that's bad as hell, and everybody's on them, even if it's just no more than their eyeballs, you know, they got that physical attraction, as they say. You know? And so all day long they used to niggas telling them how bad they look, how fine they is, this, that, and the third. But you gotta have your shit together. So now when you come through, you know, automatically, you got that magnetic attraction, you know, that alpha male, I'm the shit, you know, it's gonna be chicks that's gonna be checking you. So she gonna be through her proverbial or, you know, checking you out because she see all the other chicks checking you. So now when you get a chance to go by her, you know what I'm saying, you got to totally ignore her like she don't exist, you know, like she nobody. So now her curiosity is like, yo, what's up with this cat? You know what I'm saying? He didn't even let my, you know, beauty or anything, you know, attract him like the rest of these lame niggas that shooting all this lame ass shit at me all day long, 24/7. So now she interested, you know, in who the fuck you are because you not paying her no attention. But see, a lot of y'all cats is lames, man. And the reason why I say y'all lames is because it's very rarely that individuals is well-rounded in all areas. Like, you know, I'm gonna keep it real. You know, the chicks all life. Being fly all life. You know, being real all life. But ain't everybody cut out that cloth. So the lack, you know what I'm saying, and the, you know, the complexes with their own personal self is what bring about all these, you know, ulterior emotional outbreaks. So now this nigga want to kill you, he dislike you, you know, like I tell all the cats when you know, going out of town or whatever, and you getting the chance to make your money and do your thing, get your money and do your thing. Because once you start going to the club, once you start fucking with the little hood rats or the little chicks, the this, that, and the third, you know, it's going to be a situation. It's going to end up like, you know, Belly with Rico. They can't outgun you. They know you official with putting, you know, in that work. Next thing you know, they done put the police on you. Or motherfucker done set you up, waiting till you in the bed with your chick or whatever it is, or wherever you at, the motels, whatever, and boom. or knock your brains out. So you stay prepared for all that. But to say that individuals did a lot of things just so that they could attract chicks. A lot of niggas went out and robbed and steal and did the shit that they did to get clothes, to get jewelry, to look a certain way, to impress individuals because that's all they had. They didn't have no wisdom. They didn't have no game. You know what I'm saying? Come from the era of getting on the train, the bus, whatever. See a fly shorty, yo, putting my shit in motion. You know? Nowadays, come on, man. It's all about what you got, what you look like, what you appear to be. But that's another thing. 3/4 of the game is fronting. And a lot of these cats be up on here fronting. You know? Even though we know there's no future in fronting. So once again, it goes back to what I was saying about the student. Now the student takes off in his journey in life, you understand? And he goes down there, he goes away to college, freshman class president, you know what I'm saying? Graduate, senior class president, you know, group 5 group president. All presidents, so much shit. I can't take all the pictures in the yearbook once again. Not bragging and boasting. Meet my man, and I'm going to give you the story on him, Crazy Eddie, you know what I'm saying? Rest in peace, Eddie Richardson, you know what I'm saying, that I met in college. Who's the cat in 1984, I went under his wing. You know, had the spot out there in the Bronx on Jerome and Burnside, 188th Street. It was called Games People Play. That's the joint that Sweet G made that record behind his spot. And he also owned half of Disco Fever with Sal and them. Which when I came home, then it was up in there and met doing them. Yo, Sal, what you doing? Come on. First individual to show me about cooking motherfucking coke. Yeah. You understand? Because there's always been that separation, like I said, with Harlem and everything. And I was listening to my man Black Knowledge on St. Lads, and yo, salute Knowledge. You gave that shit all the way up, back to even going to karate school with the Tracy Morgan shit, the Kung Fu slippers and all that. That's what I'm saying. We come from the era where our fucking moms put us in the boxing school, karate school, and all this other shit so that we can learn how to protect ourselves. That we ain't need just a firearm or whatever, you know what I'm saying, to be a thug or a gorilla or whatever. Or just like with the cutting and everything else on Rikers Island and all that shit started from, let's keep it real, man. You know what I'm saying? From the motherfuckers that couldn't go with their hands like that. And I'm not putting that on all of the power rules because you got exceptions to the rule. That was nasty with their joints. You know? But a lot of times, them, the Jamaican, other people that wasn't really into that script, that 52 boxing and all that shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Because back in the 70s, you know, you look at Short Eyes and you see they was wrapping up. You know? You had to know how to get down. But now, how many niggas is rolling with you? Who got the biggest guns? If we in the, you know, behind the wall, how many is saying that they a part of this, you know, just so that you can move on individuals that you assume that's weaker than you, or individuals that you assume that's not willing to go the distance, even when you know, showing them, yo, man, we got you outnumbered, outgunned, and everything. But the real individuals with the real heart, they gonna go the distance. You know? And anybody can get robbed, you know, at any given time, you know. I done been in the Queen's pen or whatever coming in and niggas got me for some shit. You know, it ain't like I ain't protect myself to do whatever, but by the time the COs roll, it's like, yo, what's going on? Ain't nothing going on. Niggas got that. I'm going to see y'all later on down the line, or you better bail out or whatever, because, yo, I'm here. I got 6 attempts on the C-Cipher and all that. I'm not going nowhere. So if you coming through, I'm going to see you on the island or whatever, and, you know, and the whole shit about it, once again, some fake-ass, jive-ass, one of the motherfuckers' name supposed to be True God or whatever. But a lot of times you got individuals that go with the flow because the niggas that they rolling with is stronger than them, and instead of them being strong and being who they are, they being like to the motherfuckers that's like that. And that's when I see shit like that, then I go with my comrades, you know? Because I know if they did something to them and they was a 5%er, you know, they had to show them actions that was other than us that was true and living. And what I mean by true and living, people confuse holiness with righteousness. Holy means something that has not been mixed, diluted, or tampered with in any type of shape, form, or fashion. And we all have been that, mentally, physically, and emotionally. Okay? So all you can do is strive to be righteous. And when you strive to be righteous, that means that you do righteous things under any and all given circumstances. And you do intelligently righteous things. You don't let your emotions dictate your actions. Because if you a true leader, you gonna see around a lot of time that motherfuckers may be creating smoke screens or doing certain things only for you to fall into a trap. Because the art of war, the greatest tool of success is the element of surprise. And there's no rules and regulations to that. Let's not confuse boxing in the ring with fighting. If I'm fighting in the street, anything goes. Bite you in your eye, kick you in your groin, elbow you and knock your teeth out. I'm doing anything to win. Yeah, you know, I heard Zip say that too about a nigga scratching him and clawing him. That's a part of Kung Fu too, motherfuckers with the claw grip, the tiger grip and all that. Motherfuckers is gripping you, but at the same time they pulling back or whatever, they ripping flesh and skin off of you. All that shit count. You know, when it's motherfucking real war, a nigga's willing to lay in a garbage can or whatever. You know, like that nigga Butch Jones, read his shit. You know, Young Boys Incorporated. But I don't gotta read that because, you know, I come once again from that cloth, from where individuals, you know, taught you. I don't want to give the ghetto green book of, you know, the art of war away, but when it's like that, man, you coming like, as they say, like Jesus, like a thief in the night. Individual may come looking like anything, and it's going down. That's why you got to be on point at all times. So this is why you got to respect the masters in the hood politics. Even if you became a student that outshined his master. But the master is still the master. You may be the master of somebody else that you taught, but if a motherfucker was the master and taught you, you're not going to never be the master than him. You may have learned things and you may have done greater things, but, you know, that's the same process as, you know, your mother and father creating you. You're not going to be them because you came from them. And of course, they should want you and your circumstances in life and everything to be greater than theirs. But that's all according to you. Because like all of us, our parents told us the right thing to do. They was hard working. My mom scrubbed floors and and everything she did, you know, make all them sacrifices for me. And that's why, you know, I rode it all the way out. I'm going on a year. Next month, it'll be a year since she's been gone. But I was blessed with 95 years of her presence. And I just was telling, you know, my man or my son the other day, you know, matter of fact, it was my brother B Original King, so King, and we was talking about that, and he was talking about how my old Earth passed and his grand old Earth, they was both the same ages, you know, born power, and how he felt once my old Earth passed, like his grand old Earth was going to pass. And I said, God, you know something? I felt like that when the broad Queen Elizabeth passed, because she was 96. My mom was 95, going on 96. They was blessed with 9 decades and a half. But what I said to him is, you know, they was born 2 years before the Depression of 1929 to 1933. Depression in America for everybody. So if it was bad for white people, could you imagine what we was like back in slavery, eating all the scraps and everything, the poor diet that still got us fucked up to this day. Those that choose not to change. Okay? And I used to sit there and pick her brain about different events and get as much knowledge as I could get from her experiences back in those times. Because once again, like I said, the past, the present makes up the future. The young can't do it without the wisdom of the old, and the old cannot do it without the youth and the strength and the ability of the young. So we need each other. So this is why I'm up here on this guard in the streets. Guard, gangster, and gentleman. To give you the necessary knowledge that you're going to need in order for you to get around all this matrix. Because nothing that's here, that what it appears to be is what it really is. Because through propaganda and all this other stuff and just the self-hatred of us being like crabs in a barrel, always trying to pull each other down, is how we still living out, you know, the laws, rules, and regulations that was left here, you know, by Yaakov, father of the devil, who taught him to do devilishment, which was telling, lies, stealing, and how to master what? The original man. Why is he still in control? Because what he learned coming out the cave or whatever, that Musa taught him how to live a respectable life, how to build a home for himself, and some forgotten trick knowledge. The forgotten trick knowledge, right? It's knowledge, but it's a trick. That's why it's called trick knowledge, not tricknology, all that fly shit y'all want to bring in right now. And the main lesson that he was taught with trick knowledge that he has never changed is divide and conquer. And as long as he keep us divided, oh, I'm Dominican. Why? Because you speak fucking Spanish, but you blacker than me? Oh, I'm Japanese. You really looked at the Asiatic motherfucking Asians? Buddha, you know what I'm saying? Was an original man. That motherfucker wasn't even fat. How the fuck is he gonna be fat when he fasted 40 days and 40 nights? It's impossible. Buddha fish, all that. The so-called Native Americans, the Blackfoot, everywhere that you go, when it goes back to the foundation, it comes from us. That's why we can say we are the original man. And right now, your man, Young Pharaoh, just got some shit off of National Geographic showing and proving Yaakov's fucking theory for all you you know, this, that, and the third. Oh, I know, I'm a, you know what I'm saying? I'm a Mason now, 33 degree, or I'm in, you know, a Muslim, or I study the Sunnah and all that, and I'm above the degrees. Nah, because selective breeding is a reality. And if you can do it with dogs and cats and plants and all this other shit, you know, hybrids, crossbreeding, all y'all that took biology in school and is not illiterate when it comes to academics, then you would understand the process of the tall and the short and the hybrid. And through dealing with the laws of gravitation and genetics, you understand? That's how that 600-year process took place. If you deal with 200 years of just one germ and 200 of another and 200 of another, then automatically it's no longer going to be the same. And through gravitation is how it becomes what? Weak and wicked. And therefore is no longer what? Original. And that's what happened with the concept, with the gangs, with the team, with whatever. Even within our nation. This is why we got so much separation going on. This is why the devil was constantly always at hand and always got his shit in something, because he's always looking to cause that mental confusion. Because once again, our lessons say what? We'll destroy the devil in one day without falling victim to him. Who you talking about? That devil got to be first destroyed within inside of you. You got to stop trying to master your brother or your sister or whatever. But most of the time, everybody operating out of that savage, deaf, dumb, and blind, you know, existence and mentality. So they take what? Your kindness for weakness. And this is why I got to go through the things that I go through, because I'm so fucking real, and I'm real to the degree that I can be played by fake ass individuals. Because there's no such thing anymore as keeping it fucking real. Majority of y'all young cats, as soon as y'all get in front of them motherfucking, them letter boys and everything else, he did this. Everybody start telling on everybody. But I got motherfuckers that want to sit up and think that I'm going to say some shit that's possibly send people the fuck to jail or anything else like that. Nigga, I'll go do a fucking 30, 40 year bid at fucking 60 something now, knowing I'm going to die in that motherfucker before I run around telling some shit that I think I might know. Because like I said, once again, I don't know nothing when it comes to anything like that. And that's word is bond, regardless of whom or what. So like I said, I'm going to continue my mission with trying to, you know, keep this crazy ass psychedelic shit that we going through out here leveled off. Because there's got to be some of us that still been around that keep it real and can show y'all the difference between what you call gangsterism and this, that, and the third, than suckerism. Because certain things where we come from, you don't get no points for doing that shit. You don't get no points for knocking a lady out, coming home from a hard day's of work, and got to already deal with children that fucking men done abandoned them. And now, because she look good and she getting off the train, and you say something to her, and she don't want to respond back to the worst we used to do, oh, you bitch, this, that, and the third, drinking a little old gold, or she, you know, just kept ignoring you, and you know, couldn't take it, so, you know, you did childish things when you was a child. But for you to walk up now and knock that sister out or whatever, come on. That's when you would have got hung off the roof for shit like that back then. Because a lot of individuals, when they left to go away to jail to do their bids up north and everything, it's a constant cycle, man. Now we got to step up. Now we got to put that battery. Now we got to set, you know what I'm saying, what it is that's going to give you the character that anywhere you go, north, east, south, west, throughout the United States, throughout the world, that you're going to be a live wire. And whatever things that you decide, nobody talked about, in Cyprus, all the individuals that I grew up around that became police officers. One of the highest, positions as an officer. Timothy Pearson was the inspector of whole Brooklyn from Cyprus. And there's a whole lot of other individuals that I grew up with that, even back then. Now, I ain't gonna talk about my man, But he was on some different shit. This nigga was on some, intelligent shit back then. Showing me gun fu, how to stick my hand in. Y'all don't know nothing about that shit right there. Yeah, you don't think that's an art? Gun fu? Check it out. How to protect yourself when an individual got a weapon in their hand. How to disarm them with the weapon in their hand, or how to make sure that they can't use the weapon on you. I'm not going to show y'all all that type of shit up here. Y'all better go to school, pay somebody so they can teach you shit like that. But my man used to come up my crib and do his thing. You know what I'm saying? I did my numbers with all type of different people from all backgrounds. Doctors, lawyers, police officers, firemen, yeah, all of them. But individuals, we ain't do. Come on, man. Stop the fucking madness, man. And I'm not here to pat myself on the back or glorify any of those things that I did. But in the same token, if all the rest of y'all going to deliver how y'all see it, then I'm definitely going to deliver it from, the God perspective. The true and living. Walking and talking this shit. Because any of y'all that try and compare, he said he was God, but he robbed him, he did this, he did that, and everything. Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, all this shit. Judaism, all these practices, you can find individuals doing some gangster shit. They even had the Amish Mafia on TV. So don't talk none of that, this, that, and the third. You're going to have the good, the bad, and the ugly amongst every group of people that choose to be a part of whatever they choose to be a part of. That's why I'm a living testimony, man. You know what I'm saying? When Martin Luther King was a Christian, and I respect that man because it's one thing that he said. Don't judge a man by the color of his skin, but judge him by the content of his character. That speaks volumes, man. Wherever you go, whatever you doing, Just like I was listening to, once again, and I come at Zip at times, but he know when I do that, it's mostly on some 5% thing. And that might be some beef that he having with somebody else, but when you start that pudding and this, that, and the third, I got to get into that script. But him and 10 Toes again. The one he just threw up once again. Talking about the politics of what my man was talking about. Niggas sending them thousands of dollars from out in the street because taking pictures and all that shit like that to get money. But like Zip said, he was like, my pops been locked down 43 years. In the pen, in the can, as he said, straight. And his pops don't even call home asking for no money because he's institutionalized and being institutionalized just like any of us when we go to jail. If you was a nigga getting money on the street, when you get to jail, you're going to be a nigga getting money in jail. You're going to be behind something, controlling something, because there's going to come times where moms can't send you that $50 or whatever, or you might not want to depend on mom, so let me get some shit going. Or it's just your nature that, this is what's happening. Like when I got down there, first time I went to jail in North Carolina, this before they cut the 40 clip. It was $40 cash, but you couldn't have over a $5 bill. I'm like, what? This is the first time I'm going to jail. Niggas getting money, man. Come on. Or everything is in full effect. Busting bills, you got $100 bill, you done tucked to come off the visit. It's worth $80 or $75 now. I'll give you $80 if you live, you my man. If you a regular Joe Bo, nigga, that $100 now done already went down to $75. But a nigga need that because he might have done gamble, got credit, whatever the fuck, and he don't want to get his ass tore up, so he want to pay off his debts. Trade and bargaining, commissary, own, the canteens, all that shit like that. I'm making dough all type of ways, along with the card tables, everything. Because why? I'm a natural fucking hustler. And I'm not just a natural hustler. I'm a motherfucker that if I'm getting money or whatever I'm going to do, I'm willing to go to whatever extremes that it take for me to still be able to do my numbers. So like he said, his pops ain't, succumb to doing shit like that to get no money. He survived off the fucking land before, he compromised certain principles. This is all I'm talking about, man, is the fucking principles. And under the principles, it's a gray area. Because now, if I talk about things or say things that's real, that's coming out of my hood and everything else, you know what I'm saying? Then, I get whiplash, because of people's insecurities. You got individuals that, I don't give a fuck. I'm just going to do my thing, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But then you got to be willing to handle whatever, when, and I ain't trying to go through none of that shit. Not out of fear. It's just that it don't mean that much to me. I got too much other things to talk about. I'm a true and living God, man. I'm not caught up in no one fucking area with no one group of individuals doing shit. I done been all over this planet dealing with individuals of all different walks of fucking life. You know what I'm saying? My shit ain't got no limitation on it where I gotta be subjected to just talking about this or that, which is causing confusion with my loved ones. The people that I love the most, man. But everything gotta go in the core. So I may not understand it until, like I say, you know what I'm saying? And we all come from the same hood and we family, you know what I'm saying? And a nigga walk up on me and got, anybody that I could, pick, my man Dexter, Moon, you know what I'm saying? Be like, yo, Shy, bop, that nigga Moon, y'all rest in peace, Moon, you know what I'm saying? This, that, and the fucking third. But I know that you and him come up together, you know what I'm saying? So first thing I'm gonna say is like, yo, man, check this, man, here Moon number, call Moon. So y'all can get that shit squashed. So once you get the call, then you know what I'm saying? That's when the hood politics go back into its proper formation. Because at least you was respected that you was even given the call. Because like I said, I come from the era ABG. Anybody can get it. So if niggas make up in their mind, yo, nigga did this, nigga did that, when I see him, then it's You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to go through not unless it's really If it's over some bullshit or something like that I could walk away from, or yo, you got it. That's the life I'm living now. I have nothing to prove to nobody. This shit ain't about proving how hood, how gangster, what we did, this, that, and the third. My man just sent me the joint the other day. Once again, the 3 most craziest parts of New fucking York. You understand? Brownsville was second. I forgot who was third, but East New York was still number 1. So all I'm saying is to that environment dictates a lot of individual actions. And if you want to survive in those environments, it's whether you are the prey or the predator, or you in between. But if you in between, you're only in between because you choose to be in between. Because most individuals that's in between, they strong enough not to have the predators prey on them, and they don't want to prey on the weaker individuals. So they in the middle. That's where I always was, in the middle. Not unless you do some shit that you violate that's by principle, and then I'm on your ass like every fucking body else is on you. Because that shit was an extreme violation. And we had violations. We had laws, rules, and regulations. You couldn't rape somebody, and even if you did it, and we ain't catch you, or chastise you, or take your life, or do some ill shit to you, you know what I'm saying? And you got through those cracks right there, okay, cool. Now the law can handle you. If the law ain't handle you or whatever, then Holmes, you can't come around no more. You can't come around no more. You knows my move. It's over for you. You understand? If you snatch the old lady, 70-something years old, and violate her and beat her up and take her purse and shit like that, or roll into her apartment, we find out all that type of savage shit, you the one that's going to be punished. But nowadays, y'all let anything go, and y'all pick and choose, you know what I'm saying? What the fuck is Black Lives Matter if it don't matter amongst us? I was just telling a young boy the other day, I got to find that piece that I used to read, because, you know, once again, down here, it done changed because my brother Born King done fought, you know, within inside of the state of North Carolina now see to get us off of the STG list. Security Threat Group. We was right up there with the Bloods and the Crip. I done went to the box and all that shit for pictures with the universal flag. You understand? So I had to go up into the Moorish Science Temple and become the Grand Sheik for 2 years, 2.5 years, whatever, when I was there at motherfucking Caswell in Yanceyville, which is still a town with a bunch of goddamn known Ku Klux Klan members. But while I was up there, I had a piece that was called Salute to the Gangbangers. And it was written by the Ku Klux Klan. And they said that the gangbangers in them is both one and the same because they both like to kill niggas. They said the gangbangers have done a better job than they have done at lynching individuals during their time. They gangbangers have killed more gang members and everything through gangbanging than the Ku Klux Klan done did through lynching us. How fucking retarded is that? So you right once again, Zip, about 72 and all that, and you know what I'm saying? We could all go back and find periods of time where it was greater bloodshed and different shit than the shit that's going on right then and there. But in all reality, does it still make it right? If anything, we should find solutions to not letting these things continue on or become greater, you know, in numbers or whatever within our community due to the fact of ignorance. Because like the real OGs with that shit over on the West Coast, you know, I don't watch the ones that done got up there and been like, yo, they ain't on that TJ Rogers shit, you know, the Peace Stones and all that, you know. They not on that. They told you, yo, this shit was strictly about savagery. Taking niggas shit, beating them up, doodling them, extorting them, all that. That was gang activity. That's why, once again, TJ Rogers said, OG Mac did a disservice to the East Coast by bringing that shit over here, because the East Coast was always known for the 5%ers. But once again, like I said, having the mentality of God, you know, God is a Greco word. Allah produced God. God don't manifest Allah. You know? God could be said in all type of languages. Dios, Jah, whatever. Allah could only be said Allah as Allah. You know, so having that God mentality allow us to have that extreme mentality. Oh, nothing can, you know, conquer God. I could master all things. No, you can't. No, you can't. There are physical, chemical things that come into existence, and, you know, you just not going to master them. That's why brothers picked and choose when the COVID came, whether they was going to take the shot or not take the shot. And once again, that all boils down to knowledge of self. If I'm not teaching you knowledge of self about you, learning about you, then I'm teaching you some bullshit. I'm teaching you how to follow instead of how to lead. And that's what makes us great, because once our Father returned physically and before he left, that's why all y'all got all of this, just we the 5%, we not the nation of gods and earth and all that. Go to my man Inf Mega and look up, you know, Allah B, part 17, where he tell you about how on, you know, the Knowledge Day of June 1969, he sent them to Pelon. On the Knowledge Wisdom Day, he said it was equality guards from Pelon and equality guards from Mecca. He said none of the Medina guards, but I didn't never have an issue, because mine, like the Subal, who we call God of Law, that was taught and around the Father and Father's bodyguard, all that good shit, was teaching me that from day one, that this is what the Father said when he came home from Madawan, because he said it to him directly, that we was the nation of gods and earths. And then Allah B said it in that one, that the Father told him that. The Father and the Son is both one and the same. Knowledge and understanding is both one and the same, because they both manifest equality. And I know y'all got older brothers, we don't deal with that type of breakdown, because the devil is not in our mathematics nor our alphabet. So all you could do is break down what's there. When you start bringing in and mixing and diluting and separating shit, that's when you cause confusion. Because separation is the first tool at making devil. So once he could deal with that, then he could deal with the divide and conquer. Just like when he came into Africa, you had what you call, he came in with the 3 M's, the missionary, the merchants, and then the military. First, he indoctrinates you with all that shit up in, and I'm not going to say shit because the Bible is not shit. You know, it is also a book in which man can learn from. You know what I'm saying? But it was a book given to us to place a false God, physical pigmentation in front of us, because when you read the Bible, when you get the revelations, it'll tell you about what Jesus looked like. Skin of tan, hair wool, feet of bronze, burning fire. You know what I'm saying? Eyes, you know, red. Sound like, you know, Ned the Wino on the corner. Yeah, because every black man is a God by nature. But prior to that, once I said that was the indoctrination, the white brainwashing that we had growing up during those times. Tarzan, you know. Goddamn, Africa is only 5% jungle. But if you young growing up and you don't go on, which is things like I said, the gentleman part, when I came down here to Raleigh, North Carolina, August the 17th, 1980. And I ran into Dr. Bruce Bridges. And I studied Introduction to African Civilization, written by John G. Jackson, and black political movement under that man. And that's when I stopped talking like he said to me when he first met me. Yo, all that black man God, everything, you was right and exact. But if you can't prove it, you talking rhetoric. You talking rhetoric. So now, like I said, tying it back in, your man Young Pharaoh found it, and go to National Geographic, and they showing and proving, and they also saying that it's coming from Elijah and Farad and them with the Yakut theory, because the Caucasian man is by best only 6,500 years old. And all of the monuments and everything. That's why Napoleon shot the nose off the Sphinx. Y'all all know about that with Stolen Legacy? Or, now let me say y'all all know about that because, you know, y'all come from the Dipset, Jim Jones era, you know, who knock your kufi off, you know, which is symbolic to we don't give a fuck about knowledge no more. And that's where we went wrong. Because with knowledge, the greatest part of knowledge, it says knowledge means to look, listen, observe, but the greatest part about knowledge is and respect. You got to always respect the individual. Because once you disrespect an individual, no matter how small it is or whatever, it can come back to haunt you. You can do something to one or two ants, but if you keep letting them do their thing and multiplying and everything else, now you got 1,000 of them motherfuckers or 100,000 of them motherfuckers coming, and they mighty. You go out there on certain geographical locations, the black ant or the red ant, them niggas, they get in your system enough for them, they eat your insides to death. So don't never say what can't kill you, and don't never say that you can't be killed or none of this shit can pop off. Because like I said, with me, if I'm pushed to the limit with anything, you know, and you dangerous and you making them type of threats or the motions or giving me them signals or smoke signals that, like the Indians used to do, then I'm going to be ready. And I'm still not going to come looking for you. I'm going to let you come looking for me. Because I'm fucking ready if you come looking for me. Better believe that shit. Otherwise than that, you know, power, equality, or law, see equality. You know? Peace. The absence of all confusion. So once again, I know I went all the way around the bush, you know, with this, and I'm probably going to have to chop it up into pieces or take pieces out or whatever when I go through my editing. But I'm basically just here on this one to say, you know, like, don't beat the God up. You know, let the God do his thing, man. Let him bring the real reality that the young need to hear and they need to know when they want to live that negative life, when they want to commit that devilishment. Telling lies, stealing, and mastering the original man. Because we always mastering ourselves. Our greatest threat to who we are and our existence is us. So don't be afraid, OGs, real OGs, when y'all coming through the corners, when y'all see shit that's out of order, you know, to address that. But just make sure you got yourself together so they can still have some respect for you. But if you're not respecting yourself, if you out there intoxicated, chasing crack, you know, drinking, you know, chasing heroin, chasing, you know, crystal meth, or any of these chemical addictions, if you out there, you know what I'm saying, playing yourself, you know, talking shit to some young cock diesel nigga that could knock your brains out with one punch, You know, make you catch a fucking heart attack, but you still want to talk tough, like you Tough Tony, but your body's all broken the fuck down. You walking with a cane and everything else, but you still want to act like you some gorilla in the hood. You better calm the fuck down before you get beat up out there. You know what I'm saying? But if you doing the right thing and you re-educating the ones that you running into that used to be miniature yous, and you now redirecting or trying to rechannel or redirect that energy from negative energy to positive energy, then we all a part of the solution. We all helping with bringing about an answer. And the answer is that we got to stop fighting and killing amongst each other. We got to go back to wanting for your brother what you really want for yourself. And see, that's where the separation comes in at. And that's what make us old timers suckers nowadays, because y'all young niggas is not living by that at all and have no respect for it whatsoever. So I'm going to stay out your way, but make sure you fucking stay out my way too. And this is God in them streets. Make sure y'all hit the subscribe button, the like button, and let me know that y'all appreciate my content, because I'm getting ready to, you know what I'm saying, rip it up. But I just felt like today that I had to sit here, you know, and get this shit off my mind and try and give y'all a little bit of, you know, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding about the things that are causing us to have these problems amongst us. Peace.